Bonjour tout le monde, je m'appelle Philbert Joachim, prof de français. Today I'm going to teach you how to do a French reading Igcse paper. So as you can see here, this is a French reading paper. So to do it, you have to start with reading the instructions. So that's the normal things that you have to consider when we are doing a French paper. So not only a French paper, even any paper. So before we do it, today I'm going to teach you how to answer a French Igcse reading paper. So now we are going to do together the French reading paper. So we will solve it. So before I go on to the questions, we have to know the prior information or the main things that we have to consider before we do our paper. The first thing, we have candidate name. So you have to start writing the candidate name. For instance, Joachim. For instance, Joachim. So I will write Joachim Philbert. So after writing my name, then I will just write the center number. This center number will be given at school. Let's imagine maybe 05656. Maybe this is the center number. Also, we have candidate number. So this also will be given what your candidate number. Maybe is 0881. Maybe this is my candidate number. So before you go to the questions, make sure you fill this information first. Write your name, candidate number, and center number. After that, as you can see, as I said, that we are going to do a reading French paper. So before we go on to the question, we need to see what are the instructions of this paper. So the instructions, they say answer all questions. So make sure that in this paper you answer all questions. We don't have an option question. So make sure that all questions have been answered. The second thing, use a black or dark blue pen. That's the normal instructions. Write your name, center number, and the candidate number in the boxes at the top of the page. Write your name, center number, and candidate number in the boxes at the top of the page. Write your answer to each question in the space provided. So in the exam, you will have the space where you have to write your answers. So make sure you write your answer in the spaces provided. Do not use an eraser pen or correction fluid. Another one is do not write on N-bar codes. And the last instruction, because this is a language exam, dictionaries are not allowed. That's the instruction. But what we can mostly consider here, I didn't say that you should not consider all the instruction, but make sure you consider this one. Answer all questions. Make sure you have answered all questions. So let's go to the question number 1. Now, this is the first question in French reading paper. So this question tests understanding of vocabularies. So it just needs you to write pictures and the sentences. So you will have to see the picture and identify which vocabulary. Maybe picture A stands for what, picture B stands for what, picture C stands for what, D, E, and F. So they say that regardez les images. Look to the image. you have to look to the image, then you will have the questions. So you have to see which questions relates with the picture. They say, pour chaque question, écrivez la bonne lettre A à F dans la case appropriée. Pour chaque question, écrivez la bonne lettre A, F dans la case appropriée. So, for each question, write the best letter from A to F in the space provided or in the appropriate space. So, the first question is Anon va manger des bonbons. So the vocabulary that you have to identify is des bonbons. So we have to go back to our picture and see what is des bonbons. So if we go to our picture, this is the bonbon is sweets in English. So if we see picture A is not a sweet, D is not a sweet, B is not a sweet, E is not a sweet, F is not a sweet. So a sweet then is picture C. So we go and write letter C in the space provided. We write letter C. Then we go to question B. Mireille boit un café au lait. Alors, so the vocabulary that we have to identify is un café au lait. What is that vocabulary? So we have to go back to our picture. Un café au lait, we mean just a coffee tea, but a milk tea, a coffee milk tea. So we have to see which picture then stands for a coffee milk tea. So if in our picture then we have picture F. So we go to the space and write F. Then we go to the question C. Omar fait du vélo tous les jours. Omar fait du vélo. So our vocabulary is du vélo. Make sure you identify the vocabulary first. So we have du vélo in English is bicycle. So we have to go and find the picture which stands for bicycle. So direct is a picture D. So we have to go and write letter D. Then we go to D. Alice vient apprendre le piano. Alors, the vocabulary that we have to identify is le piano. So we have to go to the picture and find the picture which stands for piano. If we see here, B is a phone, E is a bed, and so A is a piano. So we have to, the answer would be A. So we have to write letter A in the space provided. And the last one is Janine fait son lit tous les matins. Janine dresses her bed every morning. So we have to go to the pictures and see where is bed. Le lit, c'est bed. So we find that it is letter E. So we come and write letter E. So in this question number 1, make sure that you identify the vocabulary that relates with the pictures. Here you will have one answer which is an intruder. So you will be given the the 6 pictures and the 5 questions. So there one is intruder. So make sure that you identify each accordingly. You see the picture and its vocabulary in the questions. Let's go then see question number 2. The question number 2 also tests vocabulary understanding. How do you understand the French vocabulary? So, but here they just say regardez les panneaux. Les panneaux, c'est-à-dire labels. So, labels, like if you go to the supermarket, to the salon, you will see labels. Even not even in salon, everywhere in the law, they just put labels. Those labels shows, they can show direction, like where you want to go, where are you going, they can give you, this is a toilet, this is a bathroom. So we just put labels for you to know what service is being given there. So question number 2 also tests how do you understand the French vocabulary. So question number 1, number 2 needs vocabulary. So before here we have been given les vocabulaires à la librairie. So we have to find we have to understand the vocabulary of library. Together, as you know, in the library we can get labels and so on, like here is story books, here is language books, here is biology books, and so on. So here, before we go on to the question, we need to know this one. So jeunesse means youth. Education is known. Histoire is history, so it can be storybook. Cuisine is kitchen, so here we can get the kitchen information or kitchen books, those books that talks about how to cook, like so on. Langue, languages. Religion. Animal. Crime is crime. So here we expect to get books with cases like the law books. So the case maybe that has been solved 2 years past and so on. So here is just a room where we get the book that talking about cases, different cases. So after we know the vocabularies, now the question is, pour chaque question, écrivez la bonne lettre à H dans la case appropriée. For each question, write the correct letter from A to H in the appropriate space. So what you have to do here is like what we did in question number 1. Like relating the pictures, relating les panneaux, il faut faire la différence, il faut faire la relation des panneaux et des vocabulaires français. You have to show the relation of pictures and their vocabularies. Okay, so how we did question number 1, and is also how we are going to do question number 2. So let's go direct to the question A. 2A. Il doit acheter un livre de géographie pour l'école. He has to buy a geography book for a school. So the vocabulary here is a geography book. So we go back then to the question. If I need to buy a geography book, where should I go? So geography book, where should I go? Education. Because why do we choose education? Because geography is a subject. We always subject talking about education. So we are going to put B. Then we write B. Then we go to question B. Il voudrait une recette pour un gâteau. So the vocabulary is un gâteau. He would like to take a receipt of cakes. So where can we get a cake service? In the picture that we have been given. If we see A, no. B, no. C, histoire, no. So the answer is cuisine, D. So you maybe want to make a cake. You have to go à la cuisine pour avoir des livres qu'on peut utiliser pour faire la cuisine. Alors la réponse, ça sera D. The answer will be D. Then question c'est, il aime beaucoup les romans policiers. He likes much the romans policiers. Roman is a novel. Or police. So those novels that talking about police, stories about crimes, polices, and so on. So here the answer is, la réponse ça sera H, crime. So police, we know police is always dealing with the crimes. So la réponse ça sera H. Voilà, question 2. Il a besoin d'un dictionnaire pour son travail. He is in need of a dictionary for his work. And dictionary is what we have to identify. So if I need a dictionary, which label should I use then? If we go back to our pictures, then the answer, I cannot go to the religion to get a dictionary. So I have to go to the labels that has languages. There I can get dictionary. So the answer then will be E. Then the last one is, il veut un livre sur les lapins. He wants a book of les lapins. Okay? So if we go back to les lapins is animal. Ils sont dans le même groupe comme les chats, les lapins. Alors c'est un animal. So la réponse ça sera G. Parce que le lapin est un animal. Because le lapin is an animal. So our answer is going to be G. So we are going to write letter G. That is how we do question number 1 and number 2. So I said number 2 is regardez les panneaux. Make sure that you understand the labels before you go to the question, and then relate labels with the sentences from A to E together. Let's then see how to answer question number 3. So question number 3 is lisez le texte. Read a text. Pour chaque question, cochez la case qui correspond à la bonne réponse. Read the text. For each question, put a tick, the correct answer. The correct answer in the space provided. So you have been given a space there. So because you have to do this exam for 1 hour. So what I can advise you in this question, you have to read one paragraph after another. Then you go to the question. So I will start reading the first paragraph, then I go to the question. So, j'habite dans une petite ville française, mais je n'ai pas y habité car il y a trop industriel. Devant chez moi se trouve un centre de récréage où je vais parfois donner mes vieux pantalons. L'inconvénient, c'est que ce centre est souvent très bruyant. So because I have finished the first paragraph, then I have to go to the question. Question A is, Luc habite dans une ville. So before I start answering this question, you have to understand that this question, question 3, tests synonyms. So to answer the question 3, they just ask for synonym. How can you use different way to refer the same thing? So this question tests synonyms. Also, it is in French present tense. So the question need you to give the synonyms. So now let's start question number 1. Luc habite dans une ville. A. Touristique. B. Historique. C. Industriel. So I have to go to the first paragraph. J'habite dans une petite ville française, mais je n'aime pas y habiter car il y a trop d'industriels. So we have to go then. The question is that Luc lives in a town of A. Touristic, B. Historic, industry. So the answer is industrial. So I have to put coché. Here I'm not writing a letter, I'm just putting a tick of the correct answer. Then we go question B. Look au sacre, un centre de recyclage. So I have to identify qu'est-ce que look au sacre, au centre de recyclage. Est-ce que look au sacre des vêtements? Recycling. Look lives like he's surrounded with industries. So I have to say is the industry is for clothes, des vêtements, clothes, bouteilles. These are bottles, du papier, an industry of papers. So I have to go to the paragraph and find that industry is for clothes or for bottles or for papers. So I continue where I ended. Devant chez moi se trouve un centre de recyclage où je vais parfois donner mes vieilles pantalons. In front of my house, there is a recycling industry where I always give my old pants, trousers, where Luke brings his pants. So the industry is for clothes. La réponse, ça sera des vêtements. Les pantalons is clothes. Qui sont les vêtements? Vêtements. So the correct answer is A. So I have to put a tick. Then I go to question C. Le centre de recyclage cause beaucoup de. The center of cycling cause many of. Déchets is that. Bruit is noise. Pollution is pollution. So I have to go and to the text and find the recycling activities cause what? Cause dirt, cause noise, or cause pollution according to the question. So if I get back to the paragraph, I say l'inconvénient c'est que ce centre est souvent très bruyant. So as you can see, vieux pantalon is a synonym of vêtement. Bruyant is noisy. So I have to find the synonym of bruyant, qui est bruit, noise. So I go there and write B. So I have to put a tick. Then I go to read question number D. La mère de Luc achète des pois au marché. The mom of Luc buy to the market. Des œufs fermiers. This is eggs. Suisse fumée. Produits frais. So I have to go in the text and find what Luc's mom buy in the market. So then I continue reading because my first paragraph has finished, so I have to go with paragraph 2. Le dimanche matin, il y a un grand marché au centre-ville. Ma mère aime y aller pour acheter des fruits et des légumes. So Luke's mom buying fruits and vegetables. Des fruits et des légumes. So the answer there, if I get back to the question and find F fermier is not a produit, is not a fruits and legumes. We have said that there is, it's buying what? Fruits, les fruits et légumes. Légumes is vegetables. So if I get back here, will be C, des produits frais, the fresh product. It cannot be F. F is eggs. So he's not buying eggs. Saucisser fumé is not a correct answer because it has not been mentioned in the text. Fumé is like vaporing, like c'est ça fumé, vaporing. So, il y a trop de au centre-ville. There is main dash in the center of town. So we have to go in the text and find what is in the town. Either a camion or circulations like traffic. Commerçant is a business. Camion, these are cars like transit cars. Yes, those one. Transit, c'est ça les camions. Those cars used for transporting goods from one place to another. Transit, c'est ça. Circulation is a traffic jam. Commerçant, le business. So we have to go and find what is in the center town. What is there? So if we get back to the text, then we will get an answer. Car elles se trouvent de meilleure qualité. Malheureusement, les voitures sont un problème en centre-ville. Il y a toujours des embouteillages. Embouteillage, this is traffic jam. So we have to go and get the correct answer then, because we have identified the answer. So here the answer dialect will be circulation. B. Then number F. Luke voudrait avoir des en vie. Luke would like to have dash in town. So we have to go to the text and find what Luke would wish to have. A. Espace vert, lieu piéton, transport public. So we have to go and find what Luke wishes to have in the town. So if we get back to the text, we will get an answer. Ce serait bien s'il y avait des grands parcs pour se détendre. Grand parc. Le parc has trees, has animals. That's so. It would be good if there will be the big park pour se détendre. Détendre, c'est-à-dire se reposer, to rest, to get rest. So the answer is le grand parc. So if we get there, the answer will be espace vert, because vert is green. So it's about trees. So the answer is vert. Last one is envie. Luke aime beaucoup les centres in town. To the town. Luke likes much the center of commercial, sportive, universitaire. What center? Luke like much. So if we get back to the text, we will get an answer. So we ended here. So we continue. Ce que j'appréciais, apprécier, c'est aimer, adorer, préférer. These are all the verbs which refer to like or to love. Ce que j'appréciais ici, c'est un grand centre de loisirs où on peut faire plein de sports. So what I appreciate much is the big center of attractions where I can do sports. So what Luke wishes to do is sports. So we have to get to the question and find an answer. So we have seen it is sports. So the answer here is B. So this is how we answer the question number 3. As I said, it asks for synonyms. So like, how can you say different to refer the same thing? This question has 7 marks. We are going to continue with how to answer question number 4 in French reading paper. So answering the question number 4 in French. So before even you read the text, you have to identify the key concept of the question. Like here for A is quand, où, comment, so when. So the answer that you have to write should answer when. Quand est-ce que Paul est allé acamper? When. So we expect here you to put an answer which answering the question of when Paul went to the camp. Où. So we expect that you to give an answer. Où. Où means where. You should write an answer which explain where. Où se trouvait le train de camping? Where can we get the camping? The train de camping. Where is it found? So we explain where is a place. So we expect a place here. Then comment. Comment is how. So we expect a condition that explaining how, that answering this question. How. Comment les garçons se sont-ils quand ils sont partis? How the boys feel when they left. So we expect that the answer that you will give will answer the question of how. Also, we have pourquoi. So we expect pourquoi means why. So we expect a reason. So the answer that you will write there is a reason. Why? A reason. A reason. Pourquoi les garçons se sont-ils arrêtés en route? Why the boys were stopped on the road? Why were they stopped? So we need a reason. That's why they say donner des raisons. Give 2 reasons. Another one is qu'est-ce que. Qu'est-ce que. So this question, qu'est-ce que, what is? So we need a thing. Thing. So make sure that the answer you will put here is a thing. Qu'est-ce que les garçons ont fait à leur arrivée en camping? What the boys do when they were arriving to the camp. So we expect what? A thing that the boys did when they were arriving to the camp. Quel temps? Another one, F is quel temps. What time? We expect quel temps, what time? What time? Oh, what weather? Quel temps faisait-il quand les garçons ont dressé leur tente? What was the time, or how was weather when the boys dressed their tents? So we expect the question, the answer should either the time or the weather. Also is G. Combien de temps? How many times? So here we expect that an answer will be the time. How many time? Combien de temps les garçons ont-ils passé à monter leur tente? What time they use to mount their tents? Like to prepare their tents. What time are they used? So that is what you have to write. À quel moment? So another one is à quel moment? At what moment? So here we expect moment. À quel moment les garçons ont-ils fait leur tour du camping? At what moment? Or at what moment or time? Yes, moment is also time. So at what moment, at what time the boys do tour of camping. At what time? I is comment les garçons ont-ils trouvé le camping? How? I already explaining. How the boys find the camping. How the camping was. So we expect a condition, a thing. That's explaining how. Qu'est-ce que? I have explained about that. What? Qu'est-ce que les garçons ont mangé pour le dîner? What the boys ate for a dinner. So we expect what? A thing. Then the last one is pourquoi. I have explained that. Then pourquoi means why. So we need a reason. Pourquoi les garçons ont-ils bien dormi? Why the boys slept well? Why? So we need a reason. So after identifying the key concept of our questions, then we go to read the text. So because of time, we will start reading the first paragraph, then the second paragraph to the last paragraph. Together? Je m'appelle Paul. Le week-end dernier, j'ai fait du camping avec 3 amis. Le camping que nous avions choisi était à 30 km du village. Mais nous avons quand même décidé d'y aller à vélo. Quand nous nous sommes mis en route, il faisait un temps splendide et nous étions très joyeux. À mi-chemin, nous nous sommes arrêtés pour cueillir des fruits et pour boire un peu d'eau. Le voyage était plutôt fatigant. So, I have to highlight maybe the vocabulary that I don't know. Like, fatiga is tired. Splendide, c'est-à-dire bien. Bien. Yeah, bien. Cueillir, c'est-à-dire prendre. Yeah. Cueillir, c'est comme ramasser. Yeah, oui, comme ramasser. Ou prendre. To take. Okay. So, before I start answering this question, then this question tests passé composé. It is in passé composé. This text is in passé composé. So for you to understand this one, you need to know passé composé. It also imparfait. That's the tense that you have to know. Imparfait. Passé composé, past tense, past perfect tense. Imparfait, past continuous tense. Also, I have to know verbs, French verbs, les verbes, et vocabulaire, comme toujours. Vocabulaire. So, this question number 3 tests tenses, verbs, and vocabularies. Now, because you have read the text, let's go to the question now to see what is the answer. The question say, quand est-ce que Paul est allé à camper? When did Paul go to camp? So we have to find when did Paul go to camp. If we get back to the text, we will see an answer. Je m'appelle Paul. Le week-end dernier, j'ai fait du camping avec 3 amis. I'm Paul. The last weekend, I did camping with my 3 friends. So, when he got is le weekend dernier. This is a reading paper. All answers should be from the text. Do not guess or use your own answer because it's a reading. So the answer is le weekend dernier. So I go and write quand est-ce que Paul est allé camper le week-end dernier. Week-end dernier. Then I go to the question number 1. Number B. Où se trouvait le train de camping? So if you see there in the question A, I have answered where, a place. No, when. I have answered when because last week, the last week answers the question of when. Then here I have to answer to give an answer which answer where or a place. Où se trouvait le train de camping? Where can we get the camping? Where the camping found? So you have to find the place where camping found. We continue where we ended. Le camping que nous avions choisi était à 30 km du village. So the answer is 30 km de village. So here I write 30 km du village. So then as you can see I have answered where. How? Then comment les garçons se sentaient quand ils sont partis? How they feel when they were leaving. So if I get back to the text, I will get an answer. Let's go and find the answer. How? Comment étaient leurs sentiments? Mais nous avons quand même décidé d'y aller en vélo. Quand nous nous sommes mis en route, il faisait un temps splendide et nous étions très joyeux. Splendide, I said it means bien. So, bien, like good, we're happy. Et nous étions très joyeux. And we were very joyful. So, the answer was, ils étaient très joyeux. That is the answer. So, we go there and write our answer. Ils étaient très joyeux. That's the answer. So, then we go to question. Pourquoi les garçons se sont-ils arrêtés en route? Why the boys were stopped in the road? Why? Give 2 reasons. So we have to get the reason that make the boy being stopped in the road, to the road. So why they being stopped? So if I get in the text, I will get an answer. As you can see, all my answers are from the text. Then let's get to back. À mi-chemin, nous nous sommes arrêtés, stopped, pour cueillir des fruits et pour boire un bon temps. Alors, they stopped for taking fruits and for drinking water. So, the answer is pour cueillir. The answer is pour cueillir des fruits. Yes. So the reason is pour cueillir des fruits et pour boire un peu d'eau. So if you see, I have given the reason of why the boys were stopped in the road. So then question E is, qu'est-ce que les garçons ont fait à leur arrivée au camping? What a thing that the boys do, or thing that the boys did when they arrived in the camp. That is what we have to find in the text. Les voyageurs étaient plutôt fatigués. Here it's not talking about how they did after arriving. Arrivé au camping, arrived to the camp, nous avons tout de suite chargé un emplacement sur les arbres. So what they did is, ils ont tout de suite choisi un emplacement. So this is the answer. So I'm going to change just the person pronoun. So you say ils ont toutes de suite choisi un emplacement. C'est sur les arbres. Les arbres. Then I have to go to question F. Quel temps faisait-il? What was the weather when the boy was dressed to their tent? So if I get back, I will see the time where they get dressed to the tent. So I continue. Malheureusement, il n'y avait pas de piscine dans la campagne, mais on pouvait se baigner dans une petite rivière. Comme nous avions chaud après notre randonnée à vélo, nous avons joué un ballon dans l'eau. So, the answer is, what was the weather? What was the weather? So, malheureusement, il n'y avait pas de piscine. What was the weather? Arrivé au camping, nous avons tout de suite chargé un emplacement sur les arbres. Malheureusement, il n'y avait pas de piscine dans la camping, mais on pouvait se baigner dans une petite rivière. Comme nous avions chaud après notre randonnée à vélo, nous avons joué un ballon dans l'eau. So here is not talking about the weather. So I have to go to the next paragraph. Plus tard, late, il y avait beaucoup de vent. Yes, then it is. Quand nous sommes commencé à dresser nos tentes. Yes, this then is where we can get what? An answer. Il y avait beaucoup de vent. So that is the answer. So I go and write an answer there. Il y avait beaucoup de vent. C'est ça. So I go to the, so if you see there, I have given a weather. Then G, combien de temps les garçons ont-ils passé à monter leur tente? What time did the boy use it to mount or to be in their tents? What time they use it? So the answer should give the time exactly used. So if I get back to the text, I will get an answer. Après une heure de grands efforts, les tentes étaient enfin montées. So the answer is une heure. Because they need a time. So the answer is une heure. So I go there and write an answer. Is une heure. They used 1 hour. Quel moment les garçons ont-ils fait le tour du camping? What moment or what time the boys did the tour, the camping tour? What time? So I have to get back to the question to see what time they did le tour du camping. Le tente. Nous avons décidé d'aller au magasin pour acheter des besoins fraîches. Avant le dîner, nous avons exploré le camping. You see, explorer. So the time is avant le dîner. So I go to the question and write my answer. So la réponse, ça sera avant le dîner. Then, comment les garçons ont-ils trouvé le camping? How they see the camping? Was it bad? Was it good? So we expect that answer. How? I think that a condition that explains how the boys see the camping. So if I get back to the text, I will get an answer. Let's go to the text. Nous avons pensé qu'il était bien équipé avec ses cours de tennis et son mini-golf. So, what do they think? Nous avons pensé qu'il était bien équipé. They thought that it was a good word. You can say, ils ont trouvé qu'il était bien Keep. That's the answer. So here, as you can see, I have written a condition. Qu'est-ce que les garçons ont mangé pour le dîner? What the boys ate as a dinner. What did they eat? So if I get back to the question, I will say an answer. Pour notre dîner, nous sommes allés à la cafétéria du camping où nous avons dégusté. Déguster, c'est le même manger. That's the same. Déguster and manger, c'est the same. Dénommé croque-monsieur. This is a food. How do we say this food in English? Yes, cheese. Yes. Cheese sandwich. Le sandwich in English. Cheese sandwich. So, de la réponse, ça sera ils ont dégusté ou bien ils ont mangé. Manger, déguster, c'est d'énormes croque-monsieur, cheese sandwich, the sandwich, croque-monsieur. And the last one is pourquoi les garçons ont-ils bien dormi? Why did they sleep well? So if I get back to the question, I will get a reason. Why did they sleep well? Le soir, avant d'aller dormir, nous avons joué aux cartes devant les tentes. Vers 10 heures, nous nous sommes couchés. Coucher ici, dormir. C'est the same. Dormir, to sleep. Nos 5 découchages étaient très confortables. Alors, nous avons bien dormi. So, the reason is, leur sac de couchage était très confortable. There. This is reflexive. This is les adjectifs possessifs. Leur sac de couchage était confortable. That is how we answer question number 4 in French. So make sure that you start reading the questions, then you highlight the key points that you have to consider when you are answering the question. If the question asks you about when, make sure you give an answer that condition of when. So also read the text, go with the text. Don't read the text and then come answer the question. Go with the text. Okay? Then the next is how to answer question number 5. The question number 5 is you have text. They say, lisez l'affirmation A U, puis les 8 descriptions. So in this question, you will have to read the part 1 and the part B. The part 1 here, you can be given jobs. You'll be given a description of someone and you find its answer in text B. So you have to relate. You have to read what question A need and what question B, what text is similar with. So here is like relating text. So I recommend this question when you are doing an IGCSE exam to be the last question because it just needs much understanding. So the question 5, it has to be the last question when you are attempting the IGCSE exam because it needs you to think. So because the question 6 and question 4 is like the same. So the technique we used to answer the question 4, we will be also use them to answer the question 6. But the question 5, you'll be given the description. So this is the people and this is the information you have to read and relate them. And relate with this one. This is then the text B. This was text A. This is the text. So you have to read that information and relate it with this one. So you have to see maybe number 1 it goes with A, number 2 goes with B. So it's how this information relates. So it needs much understanding. Together. So make sure you read the information of text A and the information of text B carefully. As I said, that this question has to be the last when you are doing an IGCSE exam. Question A is: Je vais passer quelques heures en pleine nature pour découvrir de beaux paysages à mon rythme. I would like to spend some hours in a plain nature area to discover good things which are in my area. La sortie ne doit pas polluer l'environnement. But my out should not pollute the environment. Le cyclism, I'm not interested with what? With cycling. Cyclism is cycling. So we have to see that the information of Samuel relates with the what information. So we have to know what Samuel needs. He wants to spend some hours in a natural area. Now, so is in a natural area. That's where he want to go. Découvrir de bons paysages. To discover bon paysage. Paysage, those who are doing farmers. So we have to get that area. Make sure that he is not ready to pollute for the environment. So his outing, we should get him a place that is not polluting, and he is not interested with cycling. So you have to see its text. Then let's go to text B. So as monter tout un an de nos montagnes à notre petite touristique à vapeur, goûter les produits frais locaux pendant les haltes gastronomiques dans les gares, tout au long parcours, vous serez oublié. So we have, we said in Samuel, pas de vélo, he is not like cycling, pas pollution, no pollution. He wants also a plain air, a presence of farmers. But here, if we see in the text number 1, monter tout or no, the mountain is about climbing. So, grâce notre petite trait touristique à vapeur, it is vaporing. So it is polluting. So automatically this is not it's not for Samuel because it is polluting already. Petit train, a small train which is vaporing. So it is polluting. So this one is not for Samuel. But if we go, venez de découvrir notre région d'une façon écologique. Écologique in biology. Yes. Écologique, c'est-à-dire la relation entre l'humain et des animaux. The relationship between animal and human beings. So ecology, that's if I don't mistake. I'm not a biology teacher, but ecology I know is like a terminology which we use, which describe the relationship between people and the natural environment and the environment, the surroundings, people with his or her surroundings. C'est ça l'écologie. When I get back to my biology teacher. So, pendant cette sortie écosse en pleine campagne, vous pourrez apprécier la beauté. So, he need also la beauté. C'est de la beauté paysage. So, le calme de la nature. Yes, correct. Des panneaux vous guideront vers les lieux les plus pittoresques. Pittoresque. Pittoresque. So, then, if we see this one, could be the right answer. So, the text of Samuel goes with A. So I will go to the Samuel document and write number 2. So I will write number 2. Then I go to B, which is Claudine. Claudine, mon mari et moi ne sommes pas sportifs. We are not there. So her husband and her, they don't like sports. So no sport. Nous aimerions pouvoir voler. Voler is flying. Flying. For instance, you can say, j'ai volé à Darsam. I'm flying with a plane. That's flying. Au-dessus de notre région, ainsi que de moins d'une heure. So they are flying should take what? A half an hour, et moins d'une heure. Serait parfait. Je n'aime pas être long debout. She don't like to stay up. She don't like to fly much, to stay up, like flying, taking time on the air. She's just 1.5 on an hour. So if we get back there, so we have this number 2, we read it, so we exclude it. Monter tout un nom des noms montagnes grâce à notre petit train touristique à vapeur. Goûter les produits frais locaux. No, this was talking about local, and it's not talking even about flying with a plane. So, number 3, vous voulez survoler les montagnes et voir les sommets couverts de neige. Survoler. Alors, faites cette découverte dans notre environ Bim Blast. On Dieu vous donnera tous les détails nécessaires pour reconnaître l'endroit que vous survolerez. No. Then we go. Gastronomy. No, it's not talking about gastro. Gastronomy is the one who is responsible for testing foods. So this is the Claudine is not about that. Vous voulez découvrir votre région sans polluer l'environnement. Le parcours vélo électrique. No, vélo is a sport. So Claudine is not like sport. Ce vol panoramique, yes. De 45 minutes, yes. Moins quart, correct. Vous offrira des vies incroyables. Notre pilote local, qui a une connaissance approfondie de la région, vous donnera un commentaire détaillé sur tous les droits qui méritent une visite maximum de personnes. So I think this is the correct answer. So if I then, because it is talking about what Claudine wants. So I go and write number 6. Claudine number 6. Then we go to Pierre. Je voudrais faire un circuit cycliste. This is talking about cycling. Où on s'arrête souvent pour admirer les paysages. Pendant ces arrêts, j'aimerais pouvoir découvrir des produits régionaux et bavarder avec les artisans. So, like he would like to do cycling where he is admiring to have those paysages is what farmers. Yes. So he's admiring to meet with what? With farmers. During he also would like to identify the products, like what they harvest, crops of his region or his province. Bavarder avec artisans. Also to talk with what? Those artists. Okay? Key pratique là. So if we get there and find an answer, let's go there and find an answer. Number 1 is not talking about farming, so we exclude number 2. Number 3, vous voulez survoler les montagnes? No, it's not talking about farming, so we exclude. Number 4, gastronomie et exercice. C'est que notre balade gourmande vous propose. Tous les 5 km à vélo, oui, correct. En plein air, vous serez invité à goûter les spécialités locales. So he said that he want to to see the product of his legend, fabriqué par les fermiers. This year they say they want to see the specialities, like the arts that done with the farmers, qui sont toujours prêts répondre à vos questions. So this question, then number 4 fits for Pierre. This fits for Pierre. Make sure you understand the text. You understand the two texts. So number 4 fits Pierre. Then we go to D. Look. J'aimerais avoir une vue panoramique de la région du sommet des montagnes. J'ai toujours été intéressé par les voyages en chemin de fer. J'ai le mal de l'air. J'ai toujours été intéressé. J'aimerais avoir une panoramique, de la région. Let's go and find the information for look. Une panoramique de monter tout un an des montagnes grâce à notre petit train touristique à vapeur, goûter les produits frais locaux pendant les haltes gastronomiques dans les gares tout un long parcours. Vous serez ébloui par les paysages. And look, say, j'aimerais avoir une vue panoramique. Une vue panoramique de la région du sommet des montagnes, oui. J'ai toujours été intéressé par les voyages en chemin de fer. J'ai mal de l'air. So number 1 fits look. So I go there to look and write 1. So look, I write 1. So make sure you understand these two texts. And how do you understand? Reading more, practicing more, and also the verbs and tenses, so on. Avec nous let's do it, Cécile. Avec nos 2 filles, nous voulons survoler votre région d'une façon originale. Notre plus jeune fille est dans un fauteuil, an armchair. That's the fauteuil. So, avec nos 2 filles, with our 2 daughters, we wish to fly our original region. Notre jeune fille, our young daughter, is on the armchair. So, this is a special need kid. Special need kid. So, you have to get which space fits for special need kids. So number 4, we have to cancel those one we are done. Number 6 done. Number 1 also done. Which remained is number 3. Vous voulez survoler les montagnes et vous sommet couvertes de neige pour un avion. No, this is not talking about special groups. So this is not. Let's go to those remained. Number 5. Vous voulez découvrir votre région sans polluer le parcours à vélo électrique? Non. Un petit groupe avec une guide locale, vous trouverez les jolis paysages. Non. No special for special needs kid. Number 6 done. Number 7 is notre ballon à air chaud vous offre des airs de vie incomparable. Montez à bord et installez-vous pour une expérience que vous n'oublierez jamais. Les personnes à mobilité réduite, yes, à mobilité réduite sont les bienvenus. So this is a special need kids. So then number 7 fits to Cecile because he has a special need kid. We go and write number 7. Then that's how do we do question number 5. So make sure that you read the 2, the A and B. You understand it carefully. As I said, this question has to be last question when you are doing an Igcse because it is challenging and it has 5 marks. Question number 4 has 12 marks. So this is our last question. Lisez le texte, répondez aux questions suivantes en français. Read the text and answer the following question in French. So let's go to the questions and highlight the main hints. Then you have qu'est-ce que, what. So we have the answer should answer what Aurélie étudiait à l'université. What Aurélie studied in the university. Pourquoi? Why Aurélie a-t-elle dû chercher un emploi? Why Aurélie looking for a job? Emploi. It's a job. Comment? How? How? I already said this in the question number 4. So we have to a condition. Comment Aurélie a-t-elle contacté par la maison des retraités? How Aurélie been contacted? Okay, in the house of, yes, this is retraité, is retired. Okay. Quand fait la directrice? Quand fait la directrice pendant la visite Aurélie? What the director did Aurélie? I think this is a feminine, so it's a feminine name, so it's to her. Then you have qu'est-ce qui, who convinced Aurélie to accept the post. Qu'est-ce qui a convaincu Aurélie d'accepter le poste? Then F, comment, how Aurélie se sentait, how feel Aurélie feel de sa première journée, in the first day. Où, where, so we need a place. Qu'est-ce que Aurélie fait dans la salle de jeu? What Aurélie did in the room of games? Jeux, games. Give 2 details. Then the last one is quel est l'inconvénient? What is the inconvenience of the employment? So then after we identify, then we go direct to answer the question. But we start, as I said, we read one paragraph after another, then we answer the question. So let's go to the first paragraph. We read together. The first paragraph, Aurélie est heureuse. Now Aurélie is a feminine because heureuse. Aurélie est heureuse d'être en deuxième année de sociologie à l'université de Nantes. Cependant, comme elle avait de sérieux problèmes d'argent, à la fin de chaque mois, elle a décidé qu'il fallait qu'elle trouve vite un emploi. So let's go to the question. Question 1 and the answering. Qu'est-ce que Aurélie étudiait à l'université? I think we can all remember that. What Aurélie studying at the university? What Aurélie taking in the university? If we get back to the question, we can get an answer. Aurélie était d'être en deuxième année de sociologie. Alors, à l'université de Nantes. Alors, Aurélie fait la sociologie. So, the answer is la sociologie. Then the question number B is pourquoi Aurélie a-t-elle dû chercher un emploi? Why Aurélie decided to find a job? Why? So you have to go to the text. Let's go. Cependant, comme elle avait de sérieux problèmes d'argent, à la fin de chaque mois, elle a décidé qu'il fallait qu'elle trouve un emploi. So, what make him to find a job is il avait sérieux de problèmes. He has a problem of money. She didn't have money, that is why. So, we have to say elle avait now sérieux problème d'argent à la fin de chaque mois. Then let's see question C. Comment Aurélie a-t-elle été contactée par la maison des retraités? How Aurélie been contacted with a-t-elle contactée par la maison des retraités? How she was being contacted with that house of retired. So it's like this house lives those people who cannot do things themselves. They need our help. So we need to find how he was being contacted. Elle a décidé, ok. Après, so we are done with the paragraph 1. Paragraph 2. Après avoir vu une offre dans l'emploi pour une petite maison de retraité locale, Aurélie a décidé de poser sa candidature. She asked for job. Elle a été vraiment surprise. Was surprised quand quelques jours plus tard, some day after, elle a reçu un coup de téléphone qui l'invita à venir dans la maison des retraités pour un entretien. So, he was being contacted by un couple de téléphone. So, let's go. So, elle a reçu un couple. Yes. Elle a reçu un couple de téléphone. So, the answer here is elle a reçu un couple de téléphone. Okay. Then question D. Qu'en fait la directrice pendant la visite d'Aurélie? So we have to go and find what the director do when Aurélie visiting the house. What the director did is what you have to go. So let's go to the text now. La directrice m'a fait visiter les locaux et m'a intéressé aux autres employés. Oh, okay. So, the answer is la directrice m'a fait visiter les locaux. This is the answer. Présenter aux autres employés. This is true. So, this is the answer. Then let's go and write the answer. Elle Louis a. La L is for la directrice. Louis is for Aurélie. Elle Louis a fait visiter les locaux. So she directed her to see those people who were there. Also, elle Louis enfin. Elle for directrice, elle Louis a présenté. Yeah. He was being introduced to other employés. So then we go to question E. Qu'est-ce qui a convaincu Aurélie d'accepter la poste? What convinced Aurélie to accept the post? Let's go to the text and find the answer. Where did we end? Here. J'ai trouvé l'ambiance accueillante et chaleureuse. Quand je lui ai expliqué que je n'avais jamais fait ce genre de travail, le directrice m'a dit que ce n'est pas un problème car je recevrai une formation sur place pendant une semaine. Très soulagé, j'ai accepté la poste. So the answer is why Aurélie accepted the post. Then say when she explained herself that I don't have experience on that job. So then she was being replied that no problem, like you will get all full information there. You just come and work with us. So that is what made Aurélie to like the job. So the reason that made Aurélie to like the job is like she thought that to do that job needs an experience, but the dialect told her that no need of experience, you will be given a full information. So we go and write that explanation. Quand le directrice a dit que l'expérience n'était pas, yes. So we have say quand directrice Louis a dit que l'expérience n'était pas un problème. The experience was not a problem. N'était pas un un problème car elle recevrait, she will receive une formation sur la place, une formation sur la place. That's the reason. Pendant une semaine. So, yes, that's the reason. Then let's go to question F. Comment Aurélie se sentait au début de la première journée? How? What's the how Aurélie feel? The feelings. So we have to go there. So we ended here. So we go to the next paragraph. Quand Aurélie est arrivée le premier jour, elle était bien sûr plutôt nerveuse. So he was bored, nervous, being bored. Mais ses collègues l'ont tout de suite mise à l'aise, alors tout s'est bien passé. Ça fait maintenant 3 mois qu'elle travaillait dans ces foyers et qu'elle contribuait au bien-être des résidents. So let's go and get an answer. So the only reason elle se sentait plutôt nerveuse, she was being bored. She was bored because elle se sentait plutôt nerveuse. Où est-ce que les résidents des jeunes, where the residents eat? Where are they taking food? Let's go to the text and find what the place where, a place where they eat, they used to eat. À l'aise, bien. Ça fait maintenant 3 mois qu'elle travaillait dans ces foyers et qu'elle contribuait bien-être. This is not explained. Après le déjeuner, qui s'est servi after lunch, which is being served dans la salle à manger, in a dining hall, eating room. So the place is la salle à manger. Let's go then and write an answer there. La salle, c'est dans la salle à manger. So the résultat des jeunes dans la salle à manger. Then H, qu'est-ce que Aurélie fait dans la salle de jeu? What Aurélie do in the gaming room? What Aurélie do? Let's go to the text and see what is the answer. Certaines places de déjeuner seulement. Les résidents choisissent les activités qu'ils veulent faire l'après-midi. Certaines d'entre eux préfèrent ne pas prendre part aux animations préparées car ils aiment mieux lire un journal ou faire une petite sieste dans leur chambre. Let's go to the next paragraph. There. Moi, je suis chargée de la salle de jeu, dit-elle. Je m'occupe, elle s'occupe des activités et je suis arbitre des disputes. These are the answers. Then, let's go to the question. Elle s'occupe de l'organisation des activités. And elle est aussi l'arbitre en cas de dispute ou de dispute. The last question. Quel est l'inconvénient de l'emploi d'Aurélie? What is the inconvenient of the work of Aurélie? Let's go to the text and find les sessions sont toujours très animées. Je trouve mon travail très enrichissant, mais malheureusement, mon salaire n'est pas suffisant. Alors, je vais devoir chercher notre poste n'y est pas yet. So the inconvenience, the only problem that her salary is not enough, so she has to look for another job which is well paying. So the inconvenience is son emploi a un salaire insuffisant, insufficient, car why? Because elle va devoir chercher un autre poste bien payé. That's the end of the exam. So before I end, this is how we answer question number 6. So this is how do we answer the reading paper for French. So I have shown you how to answer question number 1 to number 6. Correct. Please try to follow up the video, pause where you didn't understand, and repeat again to understand. So this paper was 2025 May June. So for more learning, for more exercises, follow up our videos that we post every week. There you will get to know how to answer the French IGCSE papers. I mean paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, and paper 4. Also, you can visit us Adam's site at Mikochen. There you can get a full support like one-on-one teaching and so on. We are Adam's side and I'm Joachim et your French teacher. Merci beaucoup et au revoir.